Phantom Brave is one of those games that I did not expect to have a new series entry in 2025. After all, not counting re-releases, the first game was released in 2004 for the PS2. That was forever ago. But here Phantom Brave The Lost Hero is, and honestly, I can't put it down. Is this game for you? Well, let's find out. But before that, let me make a little disclaimer. While I'm a fan of the Disgaea and Phantom Brave games, I'm not super into the in-depth min-maxing and customization. Like, I wouldn't spend hours diving into item worlds, for example. I'm more of a straight playthrough, move on to the next game kind of guy. So if you're looking for a hardcore Disgaea PB player perspective, my views on the game most likely won't live up to that standard. Just a little heads up to set some expectations. Phantom Brave The Lost Hero follows the story of Marona after the events of the first game. She has now gained legendary chroma status and travels the world to help more people with her ever-loyal phantom friend, Ash. One day while traveling the seas, they were ambushed by the shipwreck fleet. Marona and Ash are separated, and Marona is left adrift to wherever the waves take her. She wakes up on a pirate island where she meets Apricot, a pirate phantom searching for her father, legendary pirate captain Argento. From here on, we join Marona and Apricot as they both search the seas for the people most important to them. The first game's story had a lot more weight and was a little darker in tone. This time around, we have a lighter tone with a story that doesn't really pick up until much later. A lot of the earlier chapters are all about you trying to find clues about where Ash and Argento are. Along the way, you encounter people who are connected to Argento in some way, and they act as breadcrumbs that eventually lead you to where you want to be. These early chapters feel episodic and serve to introduce the world and the main characters who will be joining you on your search. It isn't until later that you actually feel like you're getting closer to the goal of the story. A lot of the chapter conflicts also feel isolated from the other chapters, making the early parts feel disjointed. However, the game still does include a lot of the charm that one would expect from the devs of Disgaea. The characters are fairly lovable and endearing with their quirky personalities and charming designs. Even the character creation is full of personality, because you can recruit someone from the Old Man class into your party. Randomizing names also is quite the adventure, as you can end up with something super vanilla, like Dominique or Tim, or you can get names like Bench Press Plus and Anti-Aging Cream. Little details like that give the game personality even when the main plot feels a tad slow and meh at times. The general charm and personality of the game are one of the best things about Phantom Brave, but outside of that, the gameplay really hooked me. There are so many things going on with the gameplay that it's kinda hard to decide where to start. Before last year's Unicorn Overlord, one of our favorite games of last year by the way, I haven't been playing many TRPGs, but now I'm experiencing a sort of rebirth for my love of TRPGs. And I feel like Phantom Brave is a good next game after Unicorn Overlord. Unlike Unicorn Overlord, Phantom Brave looks more like your typical TRPG, but it also has a lot that differentiates it from the classics like FF Tactics or Fire Emblem. For starters, you don't have a spawn point, nor do you set up a fixed amount of characters at the start of a battle. Marona, as someone who can confine phantoms into objects, acts as your spawn point. Since she's also a unit like everyone else, it means you have a mobile spawn point and are able to summon as necessary, as long as you haven't hit the character limit, or as long as there's an available item for confining. Units, upon knockout, also drop their weapons. These weapons can also be catalysts for confining, so defeating enemies also gives you more opportunities to summon allies. Paying attention to the items you use for confining is also a good idea, as they can provide a stat boost to the confined phantom. For example, some items can provide a defense boost. You can choose to either put a low defense character on this item to bolster the defense, or do the opposite. Put a tanky character on it to further bolster their strengths. On top of stat boosts, there are also bonuses that certain items can give to the units. The enemy can also make use of item bonuses, so it's always good to check at the start of the battle what bonuses enemies have, because it can range from an increase in defense or blowback damage, or straight up invincibility. As you can imagine, having an invincible enemy on the field would greatly change your focus and strats to immediately get rid of the source of the invincibility. The game gives you so many opportunities to arm yourself with advantages on the battlefield, while at the same time giving you challenges to overcome, so each map, each battle, feels different. There are also many classes and monsters that you can recruit into your party. The game gradually introduces new characters to you after each chapter, giving you something to look forward to. The classes have unique abilities and specialties. Just trying each of them through leveling them up and trying out their unique abilities provided a lot of fun for me as I went through the game. While recruited characters start at level 1, grinding out their level isn't a pain in the butt, as the juice bar mechanic allows you to stock a certain amount of XP gained from fights in order to distribute them later as you wish. The game also gives you a ton of ways to min-max on the base island using the various facilities. There's the dungeon exploration, which allows you to create dungeons from the maps you obtain from battles. This acts like Disgaea's item world, where you dive in and go through several maps in succession, and when cleared, gives you a useful item. You can use this item in fusion, where you can either fuse it to one of your existing items to make them stronger, or convert its title so you can hand it over to another item with the title facility. The game has so much to do, it's kind of overwhelming for someone who may be new to this type of game. But the wonder of Phantom Brave is that, for better or for worse, you don't need these extra things to get you through the game. For someone playing casually like myself, you don't need to go super in-depth and you can just play it like a straightforward TRPG. But the features being there allow the hardcore players to really sink their teeth into the game, while giving the newcomers the option to try them out, and potentially become hardcore fans as well. The game isn't perfect though, as there are a few problems to point out. The big ones that I've encountered is that on the Switch, it's pretty unstable at the time of posting this. There are times when the game errors and quits by itself. I don't think I need to expound on why that sucks. The performance for the game isn't really the best either. The frames aren't really the smoothest. The Switch can handle graphics way better than what we see in the game here. So I don't really think this is the problem of we need a Switch 2. This seems more like a game optimization problem than hardware. Hopefully that gets patched up in the future. Another one is I hope they patch in an "Are you sure you want to end your turn?" prompt. There are several times where I just mispress and it doesn't give me a chance to confirm that I do want to end my turn. It's pretty frustrating and it ruins my flow when I mistakenly end my turn. This isn't a personal problem, but more die-hard fans may not like the fact that it's no longer a tile-based movement game, and that weapon fusion and customization got significantly nerfed. While I still like exploring the different classes and weapons, there are definitely hard metas in the game, if all you want to do is obliterate the enemy. These hard metas probably wouldn't be around if customization were stronger, but those are the cards we're dealt with for The Lost Hero. Visuals for Phantom Brave The Lost Hero could be a miss for some. Again, diehards may not like the transition to 3D, but I think the 3D models have a charm to them that fits Phantom Brave's aesthetic. It's still as colorful and vibrant as the old Phantom Brave, and still has that same vibe, despite its 3D makeover. Although I just wish there were more varied maps in the main story that allowed for more creativity, both from a visual standpoint and gameplay mobility perspective. Phantom Brave The Lost Hero's audio also gets a thumbs up from us, as the soundtrack really captures that island-hopping, seafaring vibe that the game has. It really ties the visuals and setting together up very nicely. However, while the music is excellent, the voice acting is inconsistent. Traditionally, NIS games like Disgaea have featured above-average voice work, often with a quirky, almost campy style that adds to their humor and charm. The Lost Heroes voice cast mostly does a solid job bringing the characters to life with energy. However, some performances, especially during emotional scenes, feel a little flat.
Ash! Save yourself! I don't have any strength left!
So that's a review of Phantom Brave The Lost Hero. For someone who's just entering into the world of these Disgaea type games, I think it's a good place to start. Again, we love the fact that while it has so many features to dig into, it still gives casual players a chance to enjoy the game without needing to have in-depth knowledge and experience. As someone who just played the game without thinking about it too much, I still had a fairly enjoyable time with it. But hey, if you're the type of person who likes TRPGs and spending a lot of time picking a game apart and squeezing every last hour of gameplay, maybe you should look into this game. Maybe even the other Disgaea games as well. While you can finish this game in 50 to 60 hours or so, you'll definitely be playing for more than just that, with how much there is to do. All that being said, we're giving Phantom Brave The Lost Hero an 82. Those are our thoughts on Phantom Brave The Lost Hero. If you got the game, what did you think of it? Are you the type to really get into item customization and such in these type of games? What did you think about the changes in The Lost Hero? Did you play the original? Tell us about it in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you want more video game and video game content. This has been GameAid, and we'll see you in the next one.